Okay. Hi everyone, Sai Ram. We're going to start with 3 ohms and then I'm going to play the Devi mantra. So I hope everyone's sitting comfortably and sitting upright. Try and not have too many distractions. Going forward for these classes, I would strongly recommend having a piece of paper and pencil, because some of the things that I talk about are not all on my slides. And the Dash Mahavidyas is a completely new understanding of Shaktiism that you all are going to get exposed to. I don't think any of us, at least the audience that I know that's out there, has had any introduction to any of it. Okay. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Take 3 deep breaths and say, Oh. 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 वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बिके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते नारायणी नमोऽस्तु ते महाविद्ये नमामि जन्मो तव सदा ज्ञान प्रकाशं मे देवी सर्वार्थदेशिके. This is an invocation to Devi of So today we are going to cover, welcome back, first of all. Happy New Year to a lot of you. Um, I,
Happy New Year, everyone.
thanks, Sanjay. It's being recorded, by the way. um, I had the opportunity to give lessons last year, and we started off in with Shravanamas, and we covered Lord Shiva, Lord Shiva's family. We went on all the way through covering Janmashtami, Ganesh Chaturthi, and then the Navratris. And so now I wanted to continue this year by talking to you guys about the Dash Mahavidyas. Can you all see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. So the Dash Mahavidyas is a continuation. If you all recall, last year in Navratri, we covered Shakti, but it was the roop of Durga and the 3 forms of Durga, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga, that we cover during Navratri. And each day is one of her roop. So we did Shailaputri, Chandraghanta, Kushmande, and all the way through Kali Devi, and then it finishes in the 9 roops. Those are the forms of Ma Durga. But what I'm covering today is something completely different. It's still based on energy and Shakti, but it comes to us in the lineage of um, what we know as Adi Shakti, the Param Shakti that actually energizes and creates this entire universe. So, if you guys recall, I'm just going to go back over about what do you know about Durga Ma and her nine forms. We talked about Adi Shakti last year too. Um, and we talked about who is Adi Shakti, and is in the first story I told you about Lord Shiva, if you recall. There's Shiva is comes out of this column of fire, and in that story, it is predominantly about the male gods that we know. There's Vishnu, there's Brahma, who are having an argument as to who is the most supreme, the one who creates the universes or the one who preserves them. And from this ball of fire comes Lord Shiva. And while it's described in the Vedas to be the sound of Om, that energy that is created before the sound of Om can be done is actually the Adi Shakti. And in Shaktiism, she is worshipped in that form. Um, and then she is seen in different energy forms. So the Dash Mahavidyas are a raw, fierce energy form. They don't have, when we look at Vishnu, we look at Shiva, we have idols that give us what the form looks like, what their symbols are. Shakti in her energy forms, the Dash Mahavidyas, does not have idols that are worshipped. Um, So, something interesting that I came across the other day and I wanted to share with you all is, do any of you know the difference between a mantra and a shloka? Taijay, anyone?
What's the question, please?
The difference between a mantra and a shloka.
Is
Yeah,
it,
most of us think of it
oh,
as the same thing.
yeah, I would think it's the same thing.
It's not. So, a mantra is a powerful sound emanation. It is like what we call the magic formula. If invoked, it actually has the energy to create, to call upon. A shloka is more of a description of that energy or that God. So, shloka allows us internally, when you do dhyan of a shloka, it allows you to see the form of that god or goddess and appreciate the beauty of it, the fierceness, the protective, all its attributes and qualities, the thousands and thousands of names of it. That is what a shloka does. But a mantra comes from the Vedas. It is a sound that is that uttered gives power and energy. So this one is actually one of the descriptions in the Devi Shastras, Devi um, Shastras, in Durga Shaptashtami. So in Durga Shaptashtami, which is 800 verses of Durga Ma, this mantra comes in. And I think you guys all remember it. So when invoking Durga Ma, this is usually invoked. At the bottom, you're going to see it. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shaktirupena Samstitha Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. It calls out to Devi, Durga Ma. It says, Sarva Bhuteshu, you are residing within every living thing. That is the root you have of Shakti. It is the energy in every living being, plant, animal, within the elements, within the planets, within the universe, within the sun, millions of rays and particles of light. You are that. You are that Shakti. So now I'm going to come and tell you about the Dash Mahavidya. Dash means 10. Mahavidyas means supreme knowledge. So what is this? What is the description that we have of the feminine divine, which is Shakti? It doesn't have any form. So you don't point to a mandir and you say this is the form of Shakti in it. In the olden days, what had happened is when the Puranic texts and the Upanishads were being written and passed down, they were oral traditions and then they were written and stuff. Our population, our civilizations became very male dominated. And in order to create the supremacy, males were basically um, uh, epitomized and idolized. So whenever you see a form of Shiva, you'll see this like really sweet little form of Parvati or Shakti next to him. You see a form of Vishnu, the preserver, and you'll see Lakshmi as his energy and his consort. You see Brahma, and then you'll see Saraswati. So over these decades and lifetimes that we've had, the power of Shakti and her worship has been suppressed. In the south of India, a lot of it has been continued in the form of the one form that they worship a lot is Tripura Sundari, which is one of the Mahavidyas. Tripura Sundari is worshipped in the Saundarya Lehari, which was written by Adi Shankara. You also have it in the Lalita Sahasranam, which is the chant done for Devi every Friday that you see in a lot of mandirs. So she's idolized in that. But Shakti herself, in all her different attributes, has no form. She's also associated with people and sects and groups that are basically, they don't differentiate on male, female. She's considered to be an energy, a frequency. So when I describe each of these, I will show you a certain picture, but mostly what you look over here on the left side of the screen, that is the form of Shri. Shri is the energy and the frequency, right? And it comes in geometric forms, and you're able to meditate. So it's a very meditative form using yantras. Shaktiism also, the practice of Shaktiism, one attains closeness to the Devi, to the Ma, by chanting her mantras, by doing jap, by performing yagnas, and by meditating on these yantras. So a lot of Devi's description in the Vedas have come through the Devi Sukyatam, then the Devi Bhagavatam Purans, and some of the Shrutis and the Smritis also have Devi described in there. After these few classes, when I've done Dashmahavidya, I would love to, if there's an interest, I would actually love to go over the Saundarya Lehari, which is 100 verses written by Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara was a renowned monk, saint, ascended master who lived during the 6th century, and he's the one who established the mats meaning monk lineages in the four corners of India. He was a very erudite and a vocal philosopher and a deep meditator. There's a very interesting story about Adi Shankara. I think I shared it with you guys when I did the Durga during Navratri. So Adi Shankara was very devout follower of which god? If he's a meditator and a philosopher, who do you think he meditates upon? Anyone pipe in? Just take off mute and just say.
Shiva or Brahma?
Shiva. Brahma is the creator. Shiva is known as the lord of all the yogis. If remember, I told you Shiva is the one you want to go through meditation. The path of meditation leads you to Lord Shiva, right? He is the one who goes to the ascetics and says, and they discard everything that is part of this world in order to go internally. That's why they put vibhuti on their skin. They wear the mala, the jap malas, and they perform really high ascetic rituals in order to reach Lord Shiva. So Adi Shankar was a big proponent of Lord Shiva. One day he was sitting and meditating under a tree. And after his meditation, he decides to get up and he can't get up. You know, sometimes that might have happened to you. You're like, you've done a long sitting and you try and get up, and there's like, you feel like, oh my God, there's a loss of energy. And he goes, what happened here? And when he experiences this, he realizes that I don't have energy. Energy is what is giving me the ability to move and breathe and think in this world. What is this energy? And it is that time that he sits and meditates on Devi, on Adi Shakti. And he understands at that time that she is the primordial sound of Om. In one of his deep meditations, and you know, I don't know exactly how you want to relate this, whether he physically went to Kailash or in his meditation went to Kailash, but he ends up there and he sees the 100 verses written on the stone about Devi. And he stares at them and starts memorizing. And he's down to number 41 when he notices that Lord Ganesha is erasing them from the bottom, because Lord Ganesha realizes this is a secret knowledge and this human is going to get it. So Adi Shankar comes back and he writes down the 41 verses on Devi, which are known in the Saundarya Lahari. So the 41 are the original that he meditated on, and the remainder are 100 to make up 100. He writes on the Devi, describing his love and devotion, her beauty, her attributes, her quality of mother. And so that is the Saundarya Lahari. I already told you a little about Shaktiism when it began. It actually goes as far back as the Indus Valley civilization, in which I don't know if you all recall, but when we talk about Indus Valley civilization, it is the first time you see the form of Rudra. Vishnu, Brahma, there's no temples. It was Rudra, Lord Shiva's form, that was on coins and things discovered. So Shaktiism goes back that far back. Here's a verse from the Devi Sukta that describes Adi Shakti. I am the queen, the gatherer up of treasures, most thoughtful, first of those who merit worship. Thus gods have established me in many places with many homes to enter and abide in. Through me alone all eat the food that feeds them. Each man who sees, breathes, hears the word outspoken. They know it not, yet I reside in the essence of the universe. Hear, one and all, the truth as I declare it. I created all worlds at my will, without any higher being, and permeate and dwell within them. The eternal and infinite consciousness is I. It is my greatness dwelling in everything. I had a, give me 1 second. Okay, so what do the Dash Mahavidyas look like? This is their form. What you're looking at is exactly what they are. They are just an energy. And the best way to describe them is that there is a frequency that emanates and actually a color that's associated with it, qualities, but there's no form. So the best way in Shaktiism they describe the Dash Mahavidyas is in this upper triangle. So in the Brahmand above us is the triangle of the Trigun, Ma Kali, Ma Tara, Ma Shodashi, or Tripura Sundari. Ma Kali is known as the Black One. She's the one who is also seen as the destroyer. What she destroys and what fearlessness she brings in us, we'll go into later. Ma Tara is the supreme. So you have to understand these. The descriptions I'm giving you are of the Brahman, which is the consciousness that pervades this entire universe. So I am describing to you facets of the consciousness. So when we as humans try and meditate and reach that consciousness, that super consciousness that's out there, what do we tap into? There has to be an address, right? You send a letter, there has to be an address. The address you're sending to is to Ma Kali. The other one you're sending to is Ma Tara. Ma Tara is also known as the Saraswati Roop. Ma Kali is known as the Durga Roop or the Kal Roop. Ma Shodashi is known as the Tripura Sundari, Lakshmi. So these are the three energies in Shaktiism. Adi Shakti and Ma Kali are outside, encompassing all the other these Shaktis that I described to you. Each one of them is going to be a description of a chakra that's within our body. So if you look at Bhuvaneshwari and you look, let's start at the bottom, you look at Kamalatmika, that is your Mooladhar chakra. Then you go up to Matangi, that's your Swadhisthana, and so on and so forth until you reach Bhuvaneshwari, which is your crown chakra. So each of the Devis is part of the chakras that are within us. And above that, higher above that, are the three that are known as Ma Kali, Ma Tara, and Ma Shodashi. So now, when we talk about a lot of this, you say, well, how do I know of their existence? How do I know this reality? So much of science is catching up with what we are trying to say. When you see the geometric patterns, there's now, it's called semantics or something. They are able to put sand or any objects and you issue a vibration, and that vibration then creates a pattern in the sand. And that's when you realize that a physical form exists of that vibration. Similarly, the Dash Mahavidyas are energy, they're vibrations and a frequency. When we try and put them in other states, that's when they coalesce and become these attributes that we're talking about. What is Adi Shakti? She's actually the sound of Reem. Reem. Om really isn't something that could have been understood even by the sages. Om. That within the sinusoidal vibration, the energy that flows to create that sound, ring, that is Adi Shakti. So in this knowledge that you're gaining, there is no difference between Shiv and Shakti. It is one. Which is why, and even the Vedas, they say Shiv without Shakti is just Shav. Shav means the one that's just a dead body. So until energy comes in us, whether it comes in us as pran, as a life force, as breath, as light, until those vibrations come within us, we are innate, right? We don't have the ability to move, eat, breathe, do any of that. And as she describes it in this beautiful verse before, she's the queen, the supreme ruler. Why is she known as the queen? Because she governs these energies. She's not just in them, she is actually the governing force of them. And when you die and your body is just elements, even those elements still have some Shakti in them. Eventually, all of it dissipates back into her. The chant that's most important to know is when you look at a Shri Yantra, this is called a Shri Yantra. I actually have one right behind me. It's the one to meditate on. The Shri Yantra has sounds and letters associated with each of those corns or the triangles in there. This triangle, the biggest one up here of Kali, Tara, and Shodashi, has the sounds of Aim, Reem, Kleem. The sound is the Devi. That is what identifies her. Okay. So now you ask me, some people have been asking me, actually, somebody just asked me today, what are the Dash Mahavidyas? And do we see them in a physical form? These are the different depictions of the Dash Mahavidyas. And I'm going to go through each chakra and I'm going to explain the chakra and then the Devi there. Now remember, Ma Kali, so number one is Ma Kali, number two is Ma Tara, number three is Ma Shodashi. In order to get to any one of them, you have to go through your chakras. And once you get to your chakras, in order to go to Ma Kali or Ma Tara, they're on the same level. That's why they are on the top. You have to go through Shodashi. Her powers give you certain abilities, certain qualities. But in order to get to Ma Kali, you have to go through Shodashi. Ma Kali has even more power than Ma Shodashi. Ma Tara has even more power. They're known as the black and the white forces. It doesn't mean evil and good. It's not associated with that. It's not angels and demons. Ma Kali is the most powerful. Equivalently, if you take the sun and its brilliance, that shows up as Ma Tara in the white form. So absence of light and blinded by light. Those are the two that I'm talking about. What I wanted to show you is if ever in your meditations you come upon this symbol, this is the symbol of the Devis. Matara, I don't know if you can see my arrow, but that triangle, the black triangle with the bindu, that is in the center of the Shri Yantra. That is Shakti. That is her form. That is where everything, the entire cosmos begins from, that Bindu. And Ma Tara, Ma Shodashi, and Ma Kali are all the vertices of that triangle. So when in tantric devotion, they use these different symbols to call upon the Devi. That to them is their god and their idol. Okay. So the first one we will begin with, before I go any further, I I am going to start something which is not normal. So whenever you talk about the Devis, you start from the top. You start with Ma Kali. But in order for our understanding, since some of us are new, some of us might not even remember what are chakras, which ones are they, what are the attributes, we will begin with the bottom. So I want you to understand what the bottom is and not, this is really critical. The Mooladhar is the seat of where your perineum is. It is where you sit, the bottom area. That's its epicenter. So we're going to begin from that. We're going to begin from the Mooladhar. And when you meditate, do jap, or concentrate, you have to bring your mind down to that area and feel those sensations. Okay. Ma, the first form of Ma that we talk about is Ma Kamalatmika. She is part of the Mooladhar chakra. In each of these slides, you're going to see two visuals. One, you're going to see the actual beautiful Devi, how she is seen, what are her symbols, what does she hold. And then you're going to see the yantra form of the Devi. And the yantra is what we actually meditate on. So Ma Kamalatmika, if you can think about it, is Kamal means lotus. It's the one who sits on the lotus. The Mooladhara chakra is the seat of Lakshmi, interestingly. So the color here is deep red, if you can think of that. Her energy forms emits the red. I'm going to try and give you a really interesting idea. When you think of Devis and you remember Ma Tara, Ma Kali and all, and you think of the cosmos, we always imagine it to be a bright, brilliant, thousands of suns. That brilliant white light, when you put it through a prism, what does it break up into? Into all the rainbow colors, right? So think of it. Does the light change itself in its property? No. It's just refracted into different colored beams. This is the same in our bodies. The white light that is in the cosmos above, that enters through our Sahasrar, is actually just refractions within our bodies, within our chakras. So the color of red is the one for Kamalatmika. I've already told you something. So here, this is something, it's an interesting point to remember. And because when we get into the next sessions, some of you might find it a little awkward, a little weird, because there will be nude pictures and they might be violent pictures of the Devis. And sometimes we have a hard time sitting through that and saying, how is that devotion? Because we always think of God as good and evil is the devil. But energy doesn't have that. Energy in contained form, think of energy as fire, right? Fire, when it's controlled and in a soft form, we are able to get warmth from it. We can cook with it. It brings energy to us and sustains us, right? Fire that takes over a forest and burns things down is the ugra, which means the it's not demonic, but ugra means like the large, fierce, forceful form of that same element of fire. In that form, it is scary, it is overpowering, it is destructive. So these are also the energy forms I want you to think of when we think of Devi. So Devi has some Saumya roots. Saumya means sweet and soft, right? That are controlled. And the Ugra root. Ugra means the ones that are fierce and forceful and destructive. So you will see all those in the forms of the Devis. Devotion to bringing Devi into our lives. Why is this important? A lot you might be questioning me and saying, well, why am I learning about the Dashma Vidyas? I mean, right now I'm happy. I go for bhajans, or I can concentrate on Lord Shiva, I can meditate, and everything is good, and I'm taking care of myself. I'm leading a constructed life. Um, so why bring Devi in here? Devi is like saying, is knowledge that you cannot not know about. Because with this knowledge, you can tap into who you are and your human potential. Because that energy is within you. That you can see right away. If I said, can you feel Shiva in you? I don't think so. But if I said, can you feel Devi in you? Whether you're angry or you're soft, you're awake, or even in your dream sleep, even in your sleep, you can feel the energy. And so it's a real form of you. And it's important to get to know what are the capabilities and what are the things that Devi does for you and you do for the Devi, because in a way it is worship. Every breath you take is a form of worship. The best way to access Devis are through chantings and yagnas. Yagnas are the when we have the fire and we give offerings within that fire. That's those are the yagnas that we perform. Okay. I'm going to stress that I have subtly brought you all along to say since last year about like telling young stories to you all about different gods, and really those that's like your child steps, right? It slowly bring you to the fold of like understanding that the divine exists, that you are part of this cosmos and you have a purpose. Learn to get that purpose, because your ultimate goal is to become one with God. Whether you believe in God or not, eventually in some lifetime you will go back to merging, because we are all part of that super conscious out there, the universal consciousness, that spirit that abides and nourishes and sustains and preserves this entire cosmos, from the little ants and the little beetles all the way to to the skies above, to our natural clouds, to the mountains, to the air, and outside of this world, even the beings that live on other lokas. And so when you start down the path of letting go of what my job, my life, my love life, my money, my house, my cars, my children, my wife, my parents, when you start letting some of these attachments of the world outside go, you begin the path of going inside. And when you go inside, there is a science that's already started, and a world that's already been given to you, and you can tap into that. What I'm talking about is understanding and learning what the Kundalini is. What are the chakras? What is this energy that's within me and abides in all of us? And in a way, on a microscopic cellular level, that same energy that gives you life, gives you intelligence, give you the ability to say, I am Avni. That same intelligence and those bodies exist on each cellular level. They live in colonies. That's why they say the universe that exists outside exists within. The colonies of cells that come through. If you're in medicine, you'll know what defines the liver. It's that they are all in the same colony. These cells are producing the same cell in a different part of your body functions as a kidney. So the energies that I'm talking about, it coalesce, go within and start learning and understanding what the chakras are. Um, After the class, please send me questions about the chakras if you have any. So today we start with Mooladhar. Mooladhar is the seat of Ma Lakshmi, Kamalatmika. It is the color of red. So when we meditate on the Mooladhar, it is the energy of red. What does it symbolize? This Mooladhar chakra is the place that is our root. From it, our grounding begins. Our existence in this world, you are born of a mother's womb. Um, each male and female has the chakra. It symbolizes what you've come with in this world. It gives you security. It defines your blood, your bones, your flesh. Genetics. This is why we say the lineage. What are the genetics in your family? Do you have heart disease? It is all these are in the Mooladhara chakra. You have decided and come upon these in this lifetime to work through them that way. So we come with all these karmas, and they're in this chakra where they give you financial security, stability, the religion you're born in, the choice of your birth order, meaning I decide to be a male or a female. I'm a female. I decide to be the second child in my family. Being the first child holds different responsibilities. Being the second child holds different responsibilities. So, and by the time you're the last kid, whether you're the fourth or the fifth, you have purposely come to be so that the responsibilities of raising you go down and down from your parents. If you think about it, how does a parent react to their third kid versus their first kid, right? The firstborn, they're like, teach them, educate them, do this. Everything is first, first, first. There's excitement. By the time you're on the third one, you're like, yeah, I know you're getting your teeth. I know you can say ABC. Now can you do D, E, F, G, K, whatever? So these are the roles we have chosen, and all that is rooted in our Mooladhara chakra. It also grants prosperity and the financial part of like business, where the business failures and successes come from um, disruptions in this chakra. Now, when you're concentrating on the chakra, why call on Ma Kamlatmika? Ma is the word, it's the first word we say. And when you say it, there's a softness that comes to you because it reminds you of your mother. Every one of us has had a mother. Every animal born in this world has a mother. The mother, or Ma Kamalatmika, is the one you go to when you're having trouble, when you feel a lack of prosperity, when you have childlessness, are not able to bear children. You pray to Ma Kamalatmika and you do her mantra and her jap. If you look on that, she is Lakshmi. Lakshmi sits on a lotus. She is so beautiful. What does she grant you? Wealth. Not just wealth of gold, but wealth of knowledge. She is surrounded by the elephant. The elephant is a symbol of power. They are the element of water there, that she sits above the water. Gives you the whole image is to show you that the lotus that lives in this dirty, mucky water, does the lotus carry all the dirt and muck? No. It hangs in the water, its roots, and it's always above. That is the symbol of Ma Kamlatmika. She is powerful and she has a lot of ability to grant us the path forward, protect us from untimely death. So in the Tantra traditions, and Shaktiism, these are the things that they do, the Tantras and the Jap for Ma Kamlatmika. I'm going to give you just one mantra. She has many. This is the shortest. So each one of them, I'm going to give you a really short one. The way you do her puja is that you take and you give your sankalp and you do jap. So jap is really important. Um, Her mantra is Shreem, Kleem, Shreem, Shreem, Kleem, Shreem. Shreem, Gleam, Shreem. So you can repeat that 108 times. For most of the Devis, it's always best to do two malas, not one. Um, I'm not sure about the significance, but there is a significance to that. Okay. Um, I'm going to cover Ma Matangi and really quick the next one, because I want to give you at least three Devis that you have seen. So now we move on to the next chakra. Where is the next chakra? The next chakra is where your belly button is. Two fingers below that is the Swadhisthana. What does the Swadhisthana mean? Swad is taste, desires. Sthan is the place. So Swadhisthana is known as the chakra where the place of all desires. Its symbols in Kundalini are of a water space. The element of water is associated. Sorry. So when we talk about all these chakras, they have elements associated with them. They have gods associated, sounds, colors, and symbols. Um, in Kundalini, the color of Swadhisthana is orange. But Ma Matangi, who is the Devi of this chakra, she is seen as a color green, parrot green. So I want you to pay attention. You will look over and you'll notice she has parrots with us. What do you think that symbolizes? What are parrots known to do?
Mimic.
Yes, they mimic and they talk. Talk. So, but they talk intelligently, not like birds like cheep, cheep, chop. They actually can repeat what we say. So the parrot is a symbol of Vak. Vak means speech. The Sanskrit word is speech. Ma Matangi is actually the Saraswati Devi of the Dasma Mahavidyas. She is seen with the Veena. What does the Veena symbolize? Mastery over the arts and music. Kala. So all your arts, your music, cultural things, the ability to speak like an orator, the ability to communicate very well, get your ideas across, have a sweet tongue, all these come out from Ma Matangi. This is the symbol you see. You see, she's holding the Padma. She has a ferret and a Venus. I'm sorry, I gotta see better. I forgot what the other last one is. Let me read to you. I don't know if you can see what it says. Ma Matangi is the divine embodiment of thought and speech. As the divine mother of thought and speech, she symbolizes the outward articulation of inner knowledge, including all forms of art, music, and dance. She also personifies the teachings of the Guru. Remember, she's Saraswati, goddess of knowledge, and the continuity of spiritual instruction in the world. By honoring her, we also honor the Guru. Those seeking to teach others should seek the grace of Ma Matangi. So she is also the goddess of knowledge. When you think about that chakra, I want to explain a little about Swadhisthana chakra. The chakra itself is full of desires, and we have a lot of desires. There's sexual desires. There's desires for power, desires to have fame, desires for being very good at what you do in your career, in your jobs. All of those come from the Swadhisthana. All desires aren't bad. See the quality of water? If you use it as an archanam, as jal, it is purified. It is a very high form. The same water, if you put dirt in it or you muck it or you dirty it up, it is no longer of the um, sattvic quality. It becomes tamasic. So this is the symbols of her. She sits on a lotus. What do we worship her with? We worship her with marigolds and red flowers, colors that are actually part of that um, um, chakra, but not of Ma Matangi, but she likes those flowers. Each of the Dash Mahavidyas has a planet associated with it. So Ma Kamlatmika, her planet was Venus. Ma Matangi's planet is the sun. If you think about it, knowledge comes from the sun. It is the sun. She is really prayed for those who have trouble bearing children. She, as you know, all your sexual organs are in that chakra vicinity. And so a lot of things to deal with that, with problems with any of those, you pray to Ma Matangi to rectify. Her chant is Kamini Ranjini Swaha. Or you can do the bigger chant, which says Om Hrim Shrim Namo Bhagavati Uchchista Chandalini Matangeshwari Sarvajan Vashankari Swaha. Some of these are really hard to do. So the easiest one to do is Kamini Ranjini Swaha, if that is the mantra jap that you wish to do. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you. Her yantra, if you look below here, her yantra is, oh gee. Can you still see it? Is actually two triangles, intersecting triangles on a lotus. Her greatest powers are she removes disabilities, accidents that happen that can cause problems, disharmony among couples. If there's a marriage that's not going well, stuff, people pray to Ma Matangi to rectify things. To try and rectify the issues. It also, because she's the goddess of knowledge, she helps with mental afflictions. So when people have had accidents or things that have happened with their mental abilities, maybe affected, she so a lot of times people go through imbalances that are hormonally caused, that can affect your thinking and also other parts of your body. She is the one known to be prayed to, Ma Matangi. Okay, so now we're on to so we covered the 10th Mahavidya. This is the 9th, and now we come to the 8th Mahavidya. 8th is Ma Baglamukhi. Baglamukhi is the one who resides over Manipur Chakra. Manipur Chakra is your solar plexus. It is 2 fingers above your navel. It covers this section. This is the core, we call, right? Physically, if you're working out, this is your core. This is also known as a seat of power. Manipur means the city of jewels. Its color is brilliant sun yellow. Okay. Ma Baglamukhi is also known as Pitambari. Pitambari means the yellow one. So in the south, there is actually worship done of Ma Pitambari. She is known to be the one who has the ability to stump something. Stump means to stop with force. With such force, it has no more movement. It is just to just to, it's not a cutting off. It's not, it is like so much power. It's the power that comes to stop it. There's a story of when Vishnu, there was some problem in the world, and he prayed to Lord Shiva and said, help me with this. And Lord Shiva said, whatever this demon is doing, you need to ask Shakti. You need to go to Parvati and ask her help. And she comes in the form of Ma Baglamukhi. And it's a natural force of just stopping a typhoon or a hurricane in its tracks, like bam, there's no other question. All things will come to a stop. Why do you need such a power? When do you need such a power? This kind of a power, remember, power of motion comes from Devi also. When there is wrong motion, so there is an intent of maliciousness, a thought, anything that is causing evil to your progress. When you call Ma Baglamukhi, she will change that person's mind instantly. She will put a stop to it. That's how powerful. So, as I tell you this, you're probably wondering, well, what is all this? There are regular people who pray to her, and it has literally physically manifested. Court cases are resolved. The Ambanis that you might know of, they do Baglamukhi puja to take care of their court cases. Lots of people come to Ma Baglamukhi to do this. So she takes care of court cases, negative communications about you. When people are saying negative things and you don't know how is this getting out there in social media, how do you turn the tables? How do you control this narrative? You ask her help and it changes it. Her planet is Mars and Saturn. She is known, because she has such a power, she's known to control the Shushumna Nadi. The Shushumna Nadi is the channel, the pure channel that runs up our spine. It connects us from the Mooladhara to the Sahasrar, to the cosmos. Now, how does she control it? There is a shortcut in the Shushumna Nadi that a lot of people, when you do deep meditation, you'll be told this by masters. They don't start meditating down in the Mooladhara. Many yogis, they start meditating in the Manipur chakra because they go straight from this Manipur chakra to the Agya chakra. And I am telling you secrets that people keep hidden that are readily available because it shouldn't be a secret. Go in and experience yourself. You will find what powers lie within you. Ma Baglamukhi's is also, there are many chants for her. Obviously, there's like 1,108 name chants you can do. Her chant here that I have is Om Aim Reem Krom, Om Aim Reem Krom, Om Aim Reem Krom. The other one that one should do, especially if you have a problem and you want to work through with, and you want to call Devi Ma. I wanted to show you her picture because I have it here in my mandir. It's the same one on your slide. But do you see how beautiful she is? When you call on Ma, it is not just, she is a mother. She's not like, I don't even know how to tell you. It just comes from your heart. It's that power that comes with so much love for her devotee. So, what is she doing in this picture? She has pulled the devotee's tongue out and she is holding a mace in her hand and she's threatening. What is she threatening us? She is taking us as a devotee, as her child, and she is saying, Don't let the bad thought, don't let it come to your mouth. As it comes from your mouth, you have created action and karma. I am that power in you that can put a stop to all that. She takes care of the evil. That's why they say when you have mental afflictions and other problems, you have people outside of your control causing ill will on you. I will come and protect you. She is also seen sitting on this demon that she is going to kill. Anything that is wrong, anything that causes, is communicated incorrectly, she will put a stop to it. She controls all that. I'm going to read this last mantra because this is a jap I have been doing and I do believe in it for Ma Baglamukhi. So if you guys want to close your eyes and just listen to it, and then I'm going to end with 3 ohms because we're already over time. Om Hrim Baglamukhi Sarvadushtanam Vacham Mukham Padam Stambhaya Jivam Kilaya Buddhi Vinashaya Hrim Om Swaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Devi, for giving us this opportunity to share your love, to share your blessings, and to share knowledge about you. I'll see you all next week. Take care. If you have questions, please send them in the WhatsApp group.
Thank you. Great session.
Aw, love you, baby.
Bye.